from all of the students that participated for 4 more years, especially young men, gotta shout out young men, everybody graduate high school on time. Everyone get college accepted. 83.3% college graduation rate. 0 incarceration rate. And we haven't lost a student to gun violence. And we live in Baltimore City. So I tell people all the time, like, bro, maybe we're just different. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that it'll always be like that, but I think it's something important, especially when I can call every last student that was in this program for that long. I can text them. Because, like, I've watched these young men go from boys to careers in IT to fathers to married. Like, I'm going to weddings now. Like, other people might be going to, graduate. I'm still going to graduation, Yeah. And I'm not even talking about just locally, across the country. So it's like, that don't happen by chance,
Hey man, welcome back to the couch. Another episode with Couchin with DGF. It's your boy Sir Delion in the building.
I'm Uncle Bomo.
And today we got another special guest, my guy, my big bro. He hate when I call him my mentor, but he kind of was a mentor at one point in my life, right?
Yes, sir.
My guy Mayo. I'll let him introduce himself, give him a quick background of who he is, and we're gonna start it off from there.
I'm gonna try to keep this as unprofessional as possible. But Mayo, CVO, servant leader of Mentor and Mentors, author of The Promise.
Okay.
Something light?
Something light. I was not expecting that. That was lighter than what I expected. Well, I'm gonna let my bro do the honors, as always.
Shout out to Mayo for coming to the couch today. You're not drinking, so you can toast up the water.
Oh yeah, let's do it. High quality.
This first one for you, bro. Appreciate you for showing us some love. I don't like that.
I mean, you could always drink this.
That's my typical go-to right there.
Well, before we get started, y'all know I like to give my flowers. Bro, number one, I appreciate you since you've been in my life. But just also appreciate you for taking the time to come on the couch and show the world who you are. It's so many words I can explain, but I just appreciate you as a person. All the things that we talk about off the record. So, very grateful to have you in my life. To many more years,
yes, sir.
To many more days, everything. So definitely appreciate you for being here today.
I appreciate you too, man. Man, I appreciate this setup, so thank you for the platform. We say giving flowers. Someone that runs an organization, we got to give a shout out to the team behind the camera. I know you guys might not see it, but definitely want to salute your team. This is not an individual effort.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Not.
So, man, it's been a joy. I can't remember the exact year me and Del met. Sir Delion, I call him Del. But, man, when I met my guy, he was struggle season. Like, it was struggle season.
Oh.
My man, he still had a Dodge Charger, but that bad boy was not making it from A to B.
Yeah.
That joint was struggling.
I went home to pick that car up.
Yeah.
It broke down the way home.
My man was delivering pizza out of that joint, barely making it to the next delivery. Man, he got kicked off campus. It was a lot. I believe he was taking like biology. And I remember one time we were sitting at the table and I'm like, bro, what are you taking this for? Like, what you gonna do? He was like, I don't know. And I'm watching him struggle every day. And I was just like, bro, if you don't know what you're gonna do with it, maybe you should change your major. And he like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, don't drop all the classes, just go general. And, get into IT. And I will say that Del, he's trusting my leadership in certain areas. In other areas, he's still learning. And that's just the way life go. But at the end of the day, you know, I feel like my role and my mission in life is really just to inspire others to go after their dream, right? And like live up to their full potential. And so, you know, whether they'll make 1,000 mistakes, I'm just going to be here to pray for them, support them, and keep rocking. So,
same.
I appreciate that, bro.
Absolutely. Man, damn. That car was terrible.
That car was.
Bro, we broke down. Hold on. We broke down on the way home. Matter of fact, we broke down. He gave the nigga the money. He started the car. The car didn't stop.
And I looked to my left and right. He was gone.
Gone. He got the joint started, drove home. Car was smoking from Laurel to Upper Marlboro. Car was smoking the entire time.
Yeah.
And he drove it. I'm just following him in his rental.
The mistakes we make in life, huh?
Bro,
I tell you.
Talking about 15 years is just nice.
Yeah, bro. But
Probably about 15 years of just straight craziness.
But you get a chance to look back on it, and you get to appreciate the wins, right? Knowing that it wasn't always like that, right? And so that's what I look forward to, because even in this season of our lives right now, we gonna look back 10 years from now and be like, man, you remember we was doing that? You know what I mean? Man, we had some good times, man. We did some dumb stuff. Man, God saved us. You know what I mean? And so it's like, when you look at it from that perspective, man, it's just all the catch-22. You just how you look at it. So in that season, at least you had a car. There was somebody busting it. You feel me?
Ubering.
Not even Ubering back then.
Biking.
Uber was like
just
coming in.
People was using taxis.
Somebody was riding a bike,
using
scooter.
the feet. 100,000 miles in these shoes.
And meanwhile, you had the flared Flintstone. You feel me? Never knew when you had to push, but at the same time, hey. And he was trying his best to like keep saving it. But the funny story was, like, when it kept breaking down. So I had this car dealership out Aberdeen. I had this car dealership, so I take them all the way out Aberdeen. I'm like, look, bro, they gonna look out for you. You don't got to put no money down. They'll let you take it for like a week. All like they're like legit. So Del talking to the guy. He like, if you want my help, I can help you out. Let me show you what you could get. I don't know what numbers he ran with Del, but he walked Del out to this Ninja Turtle green
Kia Soul. Remember that, bro? I called you.
I don't remember that at all.
Yes. So he walks into it. Del was so ungrateful, number one. Let's be clear. He was like, one, Aberdeen ain't close. I'm like, bro, we don't drove all the way out. He like, yo, I do not want that. But I'm like, think about what you got. He was like, yo, I do not want that. I'm like, yo, you don't got me all the way out here embarrassing me in front of my peoples.
Damn.
But he refused. He was like, nah, bro, I'll walk. I'll walk before I drive. I'm like, bro, one, this is embarrassing, man. We in front of this guy. You know what I mean? He trying to help you out. This is whatever numbers he read. This is what they can give you. No money down.
All I remember was seeing that John in the commercial with the hamsters. I knew it was over for me.
But again, it's all perspective. That's what you could afford at the time.
I just thought, I'm like, I ain't riding around with this with the homies, ain't it?
Oh no.
What year was that?
What year was that? 18?
8. It was probably after the season of be having nothing.
Yeah.
From homeless to nothing to
I was just trying to get my man in something. You feel me? Something with some wheels. But he was unappreciative.
Oh, that man's picky.
Because we drove about an hour and some change. And then we drove an hour and change back. And I was just like, you deserve to walk, bro. Bro, you had the car in your hand and you go like, no money down? See, what he was thinking is, how is this going to make me look? Mm-hmm. Now, he would have looked like a goofy, but it would have been temporary. It would have been, bro. It would have been temporary.
That note.
Bro, one, you could have parked far from people. You know what I mean? You could have parked down the hill, walked up, whatever. See, but he would have been a type when he leaving out, look around, see who looking. Yeah, that was funny, bro. But it was again, it's all perspective, man.
Think about it. Between that orange Charger and this one, you didn't have that was the next car you bought, the one you have right now, right?
Nah, it was the red one I gave my little brother.
The red one, okay,
yeah, from Virginia. Because after I got that, after I didn't want that, I went on a hunt to find something. Mm-hmm. And then that was the next car that lasted that was good. Then gave it to the little bro, because I upgraded. Because now I was making a little bit of change. And he broke it. So.
It's all good, though.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Hey.
You can never say you didn't give him enough.
Hey, you're right about that. That man is different, though. What's up, Nick? Anyways, bro, explain to the people what you do. I know you mentioned servant leader, CEO of Mentors. CVO.
Yeah.
Explain what that is.
A chief visionary officer. I don't consider myself an executive. An executive is somebody that's like suit and tie. They can play the role, but they can't really like operate within it. So what I mean by that is like, you know, you got some people who have to be trained to do things, and then you got some people who are born to do things. I think, you know, even though from the outside looking in, it like look the same to people, but when you are in the game, you know, like this person ain't legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so for me, God gave me this vision back when I was a kid, actually. And so when I was in 9th grade, I was contemplating dropping out of high school. And whenever I'm like contemplating, I always go for long walks. That's kind of just been my thing since a kid. And I'm walking down Park Heights, and something in my head, I know it was God, because it's essentially, man, when God sounds just like us, but so does the enemy. So, but God was like, man, walk in this building. Now, for whatever reason, I never seen this building, never went in it, even though I grew up in the neighborhood, but I wasn't a church goer. So it was a church, then it was a building attached to the church. And when I walked in, there was this beautiful lady by the name of Miss Tiffany, and she offered me a job to be a tutor. Now I'm in the 9th grade. I didn't even know what tutoring meant. That's how crazy it was. So going into 9th grade, man, I was reading on a 1st grade level, and my math was lower. So whatever is lower than first, let's say pre-K, kindergarten, something like that. But she offered me a job as a tutor. Now I'm looking at her, and I'm more attracted to her beauty, right? Knowing that I don't have a chance, but I'm like, if I can be around her, I'll do it. And she like, yeah, we pay you once a month. All good. And I started working with these 1st and 2nd graders, man. And I knew like school wasn't my thing, because I was an athlete and we didn't really have to do work. But these young people taught me the language of reading. Like being around them, I started to pick up like slowly but surely, you know, syllables, and I went from 3 letters to 4, and then 4 to 5, etc. And I would just practice repetition. And the thing that I loved about being around them was they never judged me. Now my homeboys, my classmates, it's another level. Like when if the teacher call you stuttering, you gonna hear it, right?
Yeah, sure.
They gonna slide you all day. He dumb. You know, I don't care how good you are. Look at him, bro. He can run the ball. He can't read. He can't even spell ball. So, man, doing that for about 2 years, man, I really feel like it saved my life. And so as I was going through that process, I told myself that I was always indebted to these young people. I don't know where they are today, but that was like the journey that kind of sparked everything. You know what I'm saying? And so I wound up graduating in the top 10% of my class, you know, going off to be the first in my family to go to college. But I've just been laser focused. Like God was like, yo, you're going to work with young people. And so I didn't know how I was going to work with young people. I just knew I was going to work with young people, you know, similar to Dell and other black guys. We all have admirations to like make it pro. But I'm like, man, I'm talented enough, but if it don't work, I'm gonna open up a daycare center. So I didn't really care if I made it or not. Yeah. And I, you know, going into college my freshman year, not having a mentor myself, or I didn't have mentors. I had something like mentors, because coaches can be considered mentors, your barber can be considered your pastor, but they're temporary. They're kind of like in and out. They're not there to kind of guide you. They're there for a temporary season. Your coach is there for football season, basketball coach, basketball season, baseball coach. It takes somebody special to say, nah, bro, after the season, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to move. Nah, bro, you're not going to do that. And so in college, I started doing adult-like stuff, and I became a dad at 19. And so now I'm really about to be tested, because one, that vision of going to the league had changed, because I knew I wasn't going to be like my dad. So I'm like, I know I'm going back home. But number two is like, now what do? You come back home. There's not a lot of opportunities as far as employment or anything like that. And I'm talking about, man, you graduate in the top 10% of your class. That's something to celebrate. But then you come back home, there's no jobs. Mm-hmm. Like, man, I'm talking about, I'm going job to job. I can't even get a job at a market. You know what I'm saying? So then I start to think to myself, man, I see why my homeboys be hustling and destroying the community, because that's easier to do than to keep being patient and keep just being faithful and keep waiting. So I contemplated again. Like, man, like, what am I going to do? I got a kid. I wanted to do something like go to the police academy. Nope. Not happening. Applied to be a mailman. Nope. Applied to be a CEO. Nope. I was like, bro, like, I don't qualify for nothing. With a clean record. And then back then I'm like looking at stuff of guys who was incarcerated getting jobs. So I was like, all right, where are they getting the jobs? So I went to go apply to be a construction worker, a flagger. Nope. I said, golly. But God works in mysterious ways. On another walk down Park Heights, past almost like by Drew Hill Park, it was like a building. It looked abandoned. Mm-hmm. And God was like, walk in this building. And I'm like, man, I remember God saying this. I walked in, and it was a job readiness program. And so I did that job readiness program. The only job they could get me was at Target. But the thing about that was I met one of the, in my opinion back then, like one of the greatest leaders of a company, Sadiq Ali. Just phenomenal guy, bro. Like every morning in the huddles, he had like in my mind, I was like, man, if I was a leader, I want to be like this guy. But had I not went, it wouldn't have happened. And so, long story short, man, made a promise to my grandma that I'd be the first person to graduate in college. Unfortunately, my grandma fell ill with cancer and Alzheimer's, and her last words to me was like, when you gonna go back to school? And that's where I was like, dang, I really gotta do something. I'm a good dad. I'm not making a lot of money, but let me uphold this promise. And because those was her last words to me, I was like, I'm gonna try to fulfill this. But when you're a kid and you don't have a lot of resources and you don't have a lot of people in your life, a lot of people to guide you, what do you do? And so I just was like, let me buckle my stuff up. I went to my high school coach. He was a little resistant at first to help me because he felt like I was a failure. He never said it, but I knew it. And he wound up calling McDaniel College, and McDaniel straight up rejected me, straight up off the rip. He was like, yeah, man, I got this kid. He was good at football, blah, blah. He went D1 AA. He's like, no, but try Stevenson. I had never heard of Stevenson. I knew it was Village Julie, but they was like, try Stevenson. And back then, you guys younger than me, but back then we had the Blackberries. Y'all heard of those? Yeah, like the little computer. Yeah, but my joint was a Blueberry. I couldn't afford a Blackberry, so I went to the little swap meet joint, got the Blueberry, and I started filling it out right there. The application. We ain't had 5G and none of that, so. That was 3G. I don't know what it was. It wasn't working like that, but but I filled the application out, man. And every day I just called, hey, trying to get in. Hey, could I come? They started talking about retake the SAT. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I've been out of school 3-4 years. I'm like, am I in or not? Had an interview and it been magical ever since. Stepped on Stevenson, and I was just like, bro, I'm gonna graduate with a 4.0. I'm gonna invest in here. They're gonna invest in me. I'm gonna probably graduate at the top % of my class, and I did that. And so I was like, if that's my journey, and I know what I needed, but I lacked, I knew I wouldn't allow other people to do. Like if I had information, I was gonna give it to them, and I was not just gonna give it to them, but I was gonna help them see it through. And by the grace of God, I started coaching football in 2013. Met some tremendous athletes, but I coached at Glen Burnie High School. Anybody can Google this, research it. One of the worst athletic schools in America. And no joke. Even at the games, the people don't cheer. They don't know when to cheer. Well, used to. Now they're doing a little better, but get a first down, nobody clap. What is the cheerleaders like this? Your job is to cheer, But I met these 3 amazing players: Malik, Darius, and Jesus Christ, Zeke. And they all shared the same dream I had when I was in high school. And they come running to me because I'm still young. Coach, I want to go D1. And I hate to be real, but I was like, look.
The worst thing in the world, really.
You ain't going D1. I was like, listen to me, bro. People who play you going to go D1 because they playing against you. That's when they going to invite the scouts out.
Yeah.
They going to score about 4 or 5 touchdowns on y'all. It ain't happening. And I got home, bro. I swear for God. Heard that voice that I hear when I'm walking. It was like, man, go back and tell them if they stick with you, they going to make it. I'm like, stop it. Going into the building is one thing. Telling these young men that they gonna make it, that's a lie, right? I'm like, I'm not about to set them up. And I went back to practice. I was like, look, I don't know what this means, but if you stick with me, you're gonna make it. I didn't even want to say it. And so when I got home, I started strategizing. If I was them, what would I want them to do? And I played against this guy by the name of Shaky Smithson. And both of us was really good, but he wound up going D1, but after he went JUCO, and then he went to the league. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, here's a plan. You're going to go JUCO. You're going to play in California because that's where he played, right? You're going to get a 3.3. You're going to do community service. You're going to go D1. Zeke come from a traditional family. He told his dad, he turned down scholarships to Towson and all that. When JUCO, his biggest offer was to Oklahoma. He wound up going to Washington. He been in the league ever since. Malik, who is my I call him my big son because he's way bigger than me. Just a really lovable guy. Used to be angry, but he didn't listen. He reminded me of me. He didn't come from a traditional family, single mom, big brother who cool, but no guidance. And he like, man, I'm gonna do my way. So he signed his little commitment to D2. I'm like, hey, I respect it. And Darius, he just a knucklehead. He don't care what nobody says. So, but he's more talented than Malik and Zeke. But unfortunately, he had the worst outcome. So Malik, go to D2. I stick with him because something said he would make it. And needless to say, he got into like some altercation, and I put my neck on the line for him. And I told him that if I sent his tape to a few schools and they responded, then he got to do whatever I say. They responded, and it been a wrap. He got accepted into not accepted, but offers from 33 Division I schools. Had some NFL trials, didn't make it, plays in the CFL. But in my mind, I was like, if I can do this with them, these mops from Glen Burnie, right, from the perspective of sports, then I can do that back home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I knew back then, I was like, my goal is to really teach these young men how to serve community. But the catch was, you do community service, I'll train you. Speed training, weightlifting, whatever you need in order to present yourself to that junior college or JUCO, whatever. And man, it was a hit. But then in 2015, the riots happened. We were serving some middle schoolers, and none of my young men was participating in the riots. And I realized that them being connected to young people kept them away from that, even though their friends and teammates was out there.
Yeah.
And that became my motto. Like, how do we teach young people to serve young people? So it's really our way of discipleship. And I've been saying that for a while, and I'm going to keep saying it. And even when people are like, that ain't going to work, I'm like, bro, that's your opinion. But when you look at like our young people results in comparison to a lot of, even like the big programs that make, have millions and millions of dollars, our students are destroying them.
Yeah.
On all levels, right? And if we were a team, it would be unfair. Like, legitimate. And I try not to compare like in that way, but that's just the truth. Like, every year since I've been doing this, I think maybe 4 years ago was when we started to like really see our students' development academically. Mm-hmm. And we was like averaging like a 3.0, and then the next year 3.3, then the next year 3.9, and this year is like a 4.3 or 4.5 or something like that. And so every year we get better and better, and now we're starting that process. Now we're working with younger kids, and we're going to do the same thing. And they're going to have better results because we learned a lot in the last 10 years. And Dell was a part of that. So in 2018, sure. Dell came alongside us. He was running our Young Men program. I always would give him all of the knuckleheads, like the kids that I would want to smack. I would go with Dell because they was impressed by the car and Dell jewelry or whatever Dell had. They was like, I want that. I'm like, go over there with Dell, right? Or I would try to give Dell like people who had commonalities, like maybe they played basketball. Go over there with Dell. Let Dell teach you, because one, he's younger than me. And they respect that. And that's our philosophy. Is like, how do we connect young people with young people? Because after 25, it's a wrap. You cooked. Yeah, you old. They gonna, if you was born in 92, they like, you old. 95, you old. But it's all good. And so, man, that's essentially what I do, man. Honestly, I have the privilege of going around the country to speak about my work and just trying to inspire people. And so some people might say a motivational speaker, but I'm just really letting God use me. I really don't want the credit. I don't really publicize a lot. That's not my goal. My goal is to like utilize what God has put inside me to try to put it in other people and then help grow that. So that was long. Feel like
yeah, it was.
Nah, but that was the synopsis of how you got here. So, Mentor Mentors was started and when?
So the concept has always been since I was little, working with those little kids, and that was 2003. But then I didn't really actualize it until 2013, working with Malik and Zeke and Darius. Being a coach, I knew that again, playing football would only take you but so far, and we started in 2014, like a week after I graduated. We started, and then we became a nonprofit in 2015.
And how did you come up with the name?
Oh man, that's funny. So back then there was no chat, there was no AI, nothing like that. So you really had to use your brain power
to think about.
And I was sitting around and I was thinking to myself, what would be the ultimate goal, right? I was like, man, to get young people to be leaders. So at first I had a bunch of names, just a bunch of names that I thought would align with speaking value into people, because I do believe, words breed life or death. So I was like, if we gonna call them something, what are we gonna call them? And then I also wanted to kind of have something that was like catchy. Yeah. And so I had a list about 20 names, and I reached out to one of my teammates who he's in IT too. Guy making a lot of money. He looked real good on social media. And I respect him anyway, because when we was teammates, he was pretty decent. And I showed him my list. And he was like, well, what name you thinking about? And I told him, man, Mentors. It just has a good ring to it. And it also speaks to what we're trying to do in the future. My man was like, man, that's a stupid name. That's not that's not brandable, right? And I was like, okay. And we didn't have too many conversations after that, bro. But ultimately, God was like, this is the one. You know how you write something down, but something pop out?
Yeah.
That was the one that just kept popping out. And I wound up going to somebody else that went to Stevenson. I'm not good with names, but people who played a good role. Kid Dawson. She was young in her graphic design career. She was kind of still like a student. But I was like, hey, could you help me come up with like a logo? A color scheme. And I remember her sending me an email. The color we gonna use is FDCD09. Right, that's the color. That's the yellowy.
Yeah.
And she had sent me something. It was a little off. She was a student, and I by the grace of God, I was connected to an actual graphic designer. So I sent it to him, and he was like, "Man, we gotta fix this, right? Like this is all this, that, and the third." And it looked like the big M on top of the little M. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like showing young people, like, man, I'm right here. But God said that we're called to be the head and not the tail. So that will flip eventually. And so, man, that's what we went with. I just knew it was going to be powerful. So, yeah, man.
Okay. What would you say probably is the biggest challenge you had since you started?
The biggest challenge? Oh, man.
And I'm opening it up because...
The biggest challenge?
Bro, I always tell him stories about, what I'm doing with you and everything. But he never...
Jesus Christ.
He never experienced it like how I experienced it.
Jesus Christ. That's a good question. I would say it's really hard to weigh what the biggest challenge is. But there's been a multitude of challenges. I think the number one challenge that I had to overcome was knowing that God gave me this vision. Mm-hmm. And really being willing to be patient to see it come to fruition. man, there's more days than I can count that I wanted to just be like, I'm quitting.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm done. And I'm gonna tell you, in 2018. It was 2018. Somebody had invited me to a leadership conference.
Yeah.
This was with all the big dogs, the mayor, all his people, executives, man, you name it. It was all the like top CEOs, right? So I told my guy, listen, I can't afford to go to this conference. He said, don't worry about it. We got you. We'll pay. I'm like, yeah, but I ain't trying to take advantage of nobody. He's like, nah, bro, we gonna sponsor you. We gonna pay for your flight. All of that, bro. It's good. And here I am. I'm like, okay, this is my opportunity to make connections with people who don't know me. Still relatively young in youth development, and I get a chance to show them my gift, right? And getting on a plane, and you know, the little house cameras was still relatively new back then, but I get the alert that my camera went off. Now, my wife at the time, she was at work. So I was like, hey, did you let somebody in the house? I'm on the plane. She was like, no. I said, well, somebody's in the house. She was like, well, I don't know who that is. So I look on the camera while I'm on the plane, and I see people in the house taking my stuff out. So I called my friend, my big bro Rob, and I'm like, hey bro, could you go see if they put my stuff on the street? And I'm just kind of waiting for him to text me back. And as we're ascending, he texts me back, yes. Now mind you, I got a wife, I got a young son with autism, I got a stepdaughter. Everything I own, like that I've like purchased myself, I collected, is in this house and is being tossed out. And I'm on my way to a leadership meeting. Bro, I'm crushed. I'm not crushed because they're throwing my stuff out, but I'm crushed because I felt like I let my family down. Like I'm doing what God has called me to do, but you know what I mean? Like how is this, you know, like how does this work? Yeah. I'm not flourishing, I'm not thriving. On top of that, the lady that I'm married to at the time, she hate what I do because she like, yo, this ain't paying no bills. You like, you doing all of this good work, but get a regular job.
Need some money.
And so I'm like, okay. So man, I'm talking about, I cried the entire flight to Tennessee. I got off and I'm like trying to like cover my face so people wouldn't see that I was crying. But then we get off and they walk us to a bus. Like, you know, a tour bus, and now everybody from this leadership thing is on the bus. I'm not even really focused on who there. Yeah. So I call home and I'm like, look, could you stay here with this person? And you know, it's just
a lot of stuff going on. Devastating
conversation to be having with somebody you're supposed to be providing for. I'm talking to my son. I'm like, hey, buddy, you know, I'm sorry I let you down. You know what I mean? He don't understand. He's a kid. All he's saying is like, oh, my stuff was outside. Oh my God, that was crushing me inside. And so I'm on the bus. I see another black leader. And I say, man, look, I don't know you, bro, but I say, man, what is something that you had to sacrifice to get to the position that you in? He was like, man, that's a good question. He said, man, for 2 years, me and my wife lived in my mother-in-law's basement. I told her, give me 2 years. And if I don't do it in 2 years, I'll put it down. He was like, man, but towards the end of that 2 years, like things started to pop off. I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of Fearless, but Fearless is like one of the largest black tech companies in Maryland. Like they do billions of dollars, like all of the, like they rocking, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, and I didn't even know that was his company back then, but that's what he just shared with me. And I was trying to use that as like something to cleave onto. And that night they had a little meet and greet. I didn't say anything. I kind of stayed in the back. And then, you know, everybody was like, oh, we going out? I'm like, we're going to my room. I go to my room. I break down and cry. And I pray. I say, God, take this cup, bro. Like, if you don't want me to do this, I don't have to do this. And no joke, that voice that I heard go into that building, that voice I heard say, go back and tell him, that voice was like, you're going to be good. You're going to be okay. And I'm like, I don't feel like it. Man, came home to a $20,000 check, bro. All right. So So, but I think that was the biggest challenge, bro. Because I really wanted to quit.
Yeah.
Hey, I really did want to quit. But here we are, several years later, almost raised like 2.5 million. So, and I'm talking about when people hear people like raise money, I'm like, bro, you gotta think about it. I'm not handing nobody a product like a T-shirt or man. Every dollar is going towards a vision that God gave me, and they're not really getting anything in return, but knowing like someone is there to support young people. So that makes a world of difference. So yeah, man, that was the most challenging. I will say that, bro. That was tough.
That sounds.
That was brutal for me.
Sure.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I'm about to say we was going on 8 years now, and I think that's the first time I probably actually.
Yeah, I don't even talk about that. Yeah.
But first, like I said, I always give flowers. I'm giving you flowers for explaining that.
Yeah, that was a lot.
That's something tough to swallow.
It's so crazy because it's like you're ascending into leadership.
Yeah,
your personal life, your stuff is getting thrown out.
Just going on. Yeah,
it's like, how does that work?
Yeah, that's like you can't. I can't even imagine being in that predicament.
It was tough, but it's crazy because I probably went on that trip. I was probably operating at like 35%. They asked me to speak, and I did. And everybody was like, "Man, you're so good.
Yeah,
everything you're doing is good." I'm like,
but you didn't feel good.
I'm at 30%.
Yeah.
So they're not even getting the best. They're not even getting the best of me because I'm the only one here going back home homeless.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that was tough. So that's the toughest thing, bro.
Man. I'm gonna take a shot to that one. I know you're gonna drink your water, but let's pull that one up, brother.
Yeah, for sure.
Man. Oh man. Boy, A-Patron. That was ignorant. That was ignorant. Bro. I want everybody to know that was ignorant what you just
nothing
did.
Left in there,
Uncle Obama was ignorant. He might be deemed alcoholic.
It was nothing left in that joint, bro.
It's all good though.
Man, that's really strong right there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank God for new beginnings.
Hey man, it's Joe. Got anything, bro?
What was I thinking? I was trying to think about how to word the question, but the kids. What do you say the biggest challenge with the kids? Like, do you feel let down, or you feel like I can't think of a word to use right now.
I got you. I know what you mean.
Bad when they don't follow what you're saying, or they turn a different leaf and follow through the program 100%.
Oh man.
So that's another challenge. That would have been next, right? So I will say last year, because we have kids, like we don't turn our back on kids. Like they quit the program themselves, and we respect that. Yeah. If it's too rigorous, if it's too tough to be challenged or held accountable every day. But we're trying to develop the next generation of leaders, and so how you show up is important. I would say this: last year was the first time that a student who we invested tons of resources in helped start a business, help make thousands of dollars, help grow, help push. When I tell you, everything that we stand for, he went against in his latter years. Like he waited all the way until his senior year to start, like just allowing the culture to snatch him up. And it got so bad that I knew I had to separate myself from like seeing him, because there's a certain level of disloyalty that I felt. Like you out here with these guys, they don't know you in this way. They're not really helping you. They're hindering your ability to grow. And then when I start to see him plummet in all of the stuff that we stand for, whether it's academics, he went from the top academic male performer to almost not about to graduate. Yeah. I said, bro, how can you do that in 1 year? And he just could not see it You know, he started, you know, doing what the streets call you to do, man. Using drugs, just everything, bro. And it broke my heart, for sure. And man, one day I went out in my backyard and I was just crying. Like, I'm talking about crying out loud, talking to God, having a conversation. And I was like, yo, like, God, like, why? Like, why is this happening? You know, like, we pouring all of this into these young people. We show up to everything. We never miss. And then, again, that voice. That voice was like, yo, who are you? What? Like, yo, who are you? Like, I called you to plant the seeds. It's not your job to grow it. And it was like, if that seed grow 3 feet, 5 feet, 100 feet, you don't determine it. You just plant the seed and move out of my way. And when I got that, I was like, okay, I can respect that. And because I didn't share this, but, you know, and my life was always challenging. I struggled with abandonment issues. My mom abandoned me. My dad pretty much abandoned me. And because of that, I typically would hold on to people tight. And this kid was one of the ones where I was like, man, if we just give him this and we do this, I was holding on to him too tight. But I needed that because if I never had that experience, we wouldn't be where we are right now, where I don't have to show up to everything. I understand, like, bro, I'm not supposed to show up to everything because I actually handicap you when you know, like, oh, he gonna do this or he gonna do that, and at some point, people are people. And I just shared this with Del the other day, man. I'm a giver. But if a person is a taker, they have no limit on how much they're gonna take. They will take your last, right? Like, if you pouring from your cup and you got no more, they say, man, give me the cup too. And I needed that experience. Yeah, I needed that experience. So I'm grateful to God. Like, it hurt. It was painful. Of course, we get disappointed when young people don't live up to their full potential because we can see it. But what I realize is the Bible remains true, and it's on my train as well. You train a child up, and they'll never depart from that way. They might not do it in your time, but they'll do it in due time. So I know that he's smarter than the average street guy. I know he's wiser than the average street guy. But what he sometimes lack the ability to understand is if I'm putting myself in situations, I can hinder that time. Like, something could happen that's out of my control. So I'm like, I hope he's maneuvering from the leadership skills that I know he has. And, you know, maybe it hit him when he's 24 or 25 or 26 or 27.
Pray for that.
But we would have liked to see it, like, straight through.
Yeah.
It didn't happen that way.
Our first students.
Yeah, it didn't happen that way.
Because I remember Dale had a kid he used to bring down the way to play basketball. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
But,
no, that was Ty. Yeah, not him. No, Ty was tough. That was a test for Dell. I wanted to see.
That's when he used to bring the hoop up for Potomac Landing and stuff, right? Yeah,
that was a test for Dell. I wanted to see how Dell was going, because that young man, he had a lot of adversities, bro. Like,
I could tell.
Yeah, he had a lot of adversity. Yeah. He was just waiting to get out of high school so he could just do his thing. But I put him with Dell because, one, I knew Dell was going to show up. I knew Dell that was going to put him in the right places and spaces. And again, man, when you working with high schoolers, sometimes they try to use you. Like, man, what can I get out of this guy?
Yeah.
And I knew it was going to be short-lived, but at the end of the day, I feel like had we not stepped in, he probably wouldn't have made it out of high school. And if he would have, it would have been in a body bag. You know, so at the end of the day, but that's not the student that we're talking about. But yeah, like, again, man, I feel like God give us these opportunities and challenges simultaneously to see where our faith level is. And so at the end of the day, I thought that I could manipulate certain outcomes with my own strength, and God showed me otherwise. So shouts out to that student who provided that opportunity. And so I don't maneuver like that anymore. As much as I miss doing like all of this stuff because I'm a dad by nature, it's all good. It's all good. And it wasn't sustainable either, because I couldn't take that model and go anywhere else. And so now we have what we call our Chick-fil-A model, where even if I wasn't around, we'll still be around.
Yeah. I think with that group, 4 of them went to college? Man, 4 of them went to college?
No, even the ones that didn't finish, majority of all of them went to college, except for 2. Almost everybody, even the ones, because again, we still track it, right? But yeah, so what we always try to tell people, if someone stay in our program for 4 more years, they're going to graduate, they're going to go to college. Even if they don't continue our program, they have a better chance. And so, yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, just
like a great turnover rate to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I'm one of those coaches that I want everybody to be great.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want us to have no weak links. I want our backups to be able to start, you know. And then it's like,
It's hard to think like that, but that's good to at least you think you can touch every kid in a way that they can be a starter, they can go be one and make a professional.
It might not happen right away, but I tell people, and so that's the difference between like myself. So like even at Glen Burnie, a lot of people don't know this. Yeah, I told y'all one of the worst schools, but when I started coaching, bro, the amount of players that we had either go D1 or D1 AA is crazy compared to who we played against. Like a lot of people would not believe, man. I'm talking about 16, 17 kids, or close to 16, 17 kids go D1. Like, that's a lot of kids from a struck. And we never went to the playoffs. But it wasn't the kids. It was, and I wasn't the head coach. Again, it's just when you're under someone else's tutelage and things, you got to follow that.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I was like, man, we could be
so much better
winning the games by 30. But, you know, but they had the individual talent. And so I take that same approach to academics, you know? So it's like, bro, like we gonna win in this classroom. And so I tell it, like, here's our facts. And people can fact check it. Again, from all of the students that participated for 4 more years, especially young men, gotta shout out young men. Everybody graduate high school on time. Everyone get college accepted. 83.3% college graduation rate. 0 incarceration rate. And we haven't lost a student to gun violence. And we live in Baltimore City. So I tell people all the time, like, bro, maybe we're just different. And I'm not saying that it'll always be like that, but I think it's something important, especially when I can call every last student that was in this program for that long. I can text them. Because, like, I've watched these young men go from boys to careers in IT to fathers to married. Like, I'm going to weddings now. Like, other people might be going to, you know, graduate. I'm still going to graduation, you know. And so, and I'm not even talking about just locally, across the country. So it's like, that don't happen by chance, you know. And so I'm appreciative, especially given like the climate within our community, like Black community, and knowing that, man, we can't take no days for granted. But I can call everybody, hey bro, you good? Yep, good. How your family? Good. How's work? Good. Everybody is just on a path. What I call them leaders, man, because they all are doing well. They all are thriving. So
that's a great turnover rate right there. I know we talk a lot about Black men because we are Black men, but what about the Black women or Black kids, Black female kids that are seeing this? Because we got a Black community as a whole. We're just in
it's a different ball game. It's a different ball game with the females. So we started serving females, I want to say, late 2018. Dell had a problem with the person who was helping us start the program, and he still had women trouble. So I don't think it was her. But he was like, he came to me, I ain't working with her. I said, bro, it's not that serious, bro.
That sounds like bro.
Like,
for sure.
He's like, I ain't working with her. I'm like, bro, it's not that serious. Like, just chill. Bro.
But we later found out that she was the
She definitely had a little something. But again, it was so it is. Again, you learn as you so when we accepted, like, we can take on females. I didn't know what we was getting ourselves into, and it was very different.
Oh man!
Because the males was just more academic focused. The females, it was emotional based. A lot of them struggled with suicidal ideation. They was very I'm talking about every day. Somebody wanted to fight somebody, and but we had a zero policy. for fighting. They never did it, but it was always just a lot of
topic.
It just pretty much would throw off their program. But at the time, me and Del was running like the young men, and we had other young ladies running the females. And so from the outside looking in, it looked like the boys had more opportunities, but it wasn't that. They just didn't work well together.
Yeah.
The women did not work well together. Okay. Meanwhile, the guys, yo, where we going next? What we going doing? We can take them out of state. Everybody come back safe. Then I'm like, yo, y'all can't even go outside the school. So it was challenging in that sense. And man, but they really did try. We had a lot of like phenomenal women mentors who was pouring into these young ladies. And I think it was like right at the cusp of COVID when they had to transition to virtual. They didn't transition as well as the guys either. So they wasn't showing up, or they'd be on camera and all you could see is this part of their head, you know what I mean? So it was like they really didn't like it. So what we did one time, we did like a week swap where the facilitators, so the women would do the young men and we would do the young women. And everybody showed up when we swapped. And they was on camera. But then when we went back to the young men, they was like, never do that again. And I was like, what happened? And he's like, nah, the facilitation is not the same. It's boring. It's draining. I don't like it. And so I was like, well, this is probably how they feel, but they're not saying anything because this woman and they don't want to look bad. And so we did like a recommitment phase with the young ladies and none of them recommitted. Wow. So that happened during the COVID year. And then one young lady reached out and she actually graduated. She's our first student to graduate and get a full ride. She graduated with like a 5 point something. But she called us back and was like, look, I really want to give this, a try. I really do want to give my best because I realized like I was a part of the problem. And I thought that was just so mature of her because she was a part of the problem. Yes. But she came back and then we started recruiting like other young ladies for her to kind of help facilitate that relationship. Then another one of them came back. She going to LSU, so shout out to Kanaya. So it started to work itself out. But then we had another transition where my wife, she wasn't my wife at the time. She was just an intern. She came on board. And I really feel like, man, light always drive out darkness. So as soon as she touched down, other young ladies start like, I don't want to mentor no more. I don't want to be a part of it. And I'm like confused. Yeah. But cause she has the same like passion I do. And so she's like, well, let them leave, you know? Like, wait a minute, right? She like, let them go. If they ain't for it, then let's rock out. We'll rock out, man. And we just kind of been teaming up ever since. She always called these cohort this her first cohort, the baby kids, cause they spoiled and, you know, like they're so used to, but man, she offered like a level of love. When I tell you grinding, staying up late, helping them with all of the transitional stuff, man, we don't kick so much money out of our own pockets to just see like our young ladies thrive. And they really needed that because again, it's a little more emotional. Then you got to think as they get older, there's things that you have to worry about that you don't necessarily have to worry about with young men, like physical abuse or, you know, sexual abuse. Like these are things that like, you really have to be mindful for. And now we live in a generation where there's a lot of confusion. So they like, oh, they, them. No disrespect to people who say that, but yeah, now you got a young lady saying that, and I'm like, what does that mean? You know, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or I think I'm bisexual. Or I think I'm like, wait a minute, like where's all of this coming from? You know, and they really need some like a motherly presence to help guide them through those emotions, help hear that, but then also teach them the right thing. And they whatever decision they make, of course we're gonna accept. But it's like, where is this coming from? Man, there's a lot of noise on these phones. You know what I'm saying? You know,
even on the TV, the movies, everything you watch is something.
You gotta think about it. If you're on Instagram for 30 minutes, you probably watch how many shorts you think. You know what I mean? You see what I mean? So it's like you just took it in 50 different ideas, maybe hundreds of ideas, depending, and then they're getting shorter and shorter. And there's a lot of ideation that's in those things that's telling them who to be, how to be, what to be, how to try to make money quick, how to disrespect guys, how to scam. I'm like, what is going on? And so, it's different for our young ladies. But at the same time, I feel like when they get that upfront guidance, you make that level of commitment, you give them the opportunity to serve, they're going to show up, bro. And it's been like that. So a lot of people, well, Alex don't think our young ladies get enough love, but they do. I'm always celebrating them. But it is what it is. They are always going to outperform our guys academically. So,
I know that every time.
So I'm always championing the guys. Like, come on, man. Catch these chicks. And it's like the guys will perform at a 4.5. And we see the report card, be like, yes, we got them.
Yeah, 5.3.
5.3. Like, dang. And then they looking at each other like, forget it, bro. We can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, they got us academically, so they gotta have their challenges too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so, but it is a blessing because at the end of the day, what I always tell our young men is that if we're preparing them, that's great. But the fact is, man, one, choosing God and choosing your mate will be the most vital decisions that you make. And if you have slim pickings, like, I'm glad I'm not dating. I'm gonna just be honest.
I'm with you.
Like, I'm just glad. Like, I tell Del all the time, if you find somebody that's willing to deal with your craziness and you kind of willing to deal with theirs, man, make it work, bro. Because it's a lot of shystiness. And I told this to my wife. I said, look, Eve, it was just abbreviated for evil. I'm like, bro, I'm not even trying to joke here, bro. I'm like, I've seen men go through so many emotions. So if you can find somebody that gives you that balance, that's willing to learn with you, man. So we don't allow dating in our program, but man, once y'all get 18, do your thing. And you know their character because you've been around them for 7 years. Mm-hmm. And while y'all was friends, what you think? Y'all friends, she gonna tell you a lot of stuff. You gonna get to know this person true colors. Yeah. You gonna know what cause she like, oh, we just friends. Man, go to college, figure that out first, then be like, you know what? I know somebody that's great because I was around them all these years. Mm-hmm. Then pursue it, and we're gonna support you. So, but yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Hold up. Did you subscribe yet? What you waiting on? Why you still haven't subscribed? I see you looking at me while I'm looking at you, while you looking at me while I'm looking back at you, and you still haven't subscribed. What's going on? Fuck with me. Come on, man. DGF Tv. Subscribe. Y'all know what the fuck going on. Y'all know what the DJ do. Come on, man. Continue tapping in, baby. Let's do it. Like I said, man, continue tapping in. Hey, right now, we're at 201 subscribers. Next giveaway is at 250. We're giving a giveaway every 50 subscribers. Tap in. When you get to the 250, you either gonna get a gift card, a bottle, or a DGF t-shirt, which is on my body. You feel me? Boom. And then you also got the other one, my brain be twerking. Little special little shit. So, like I said, man, continue tapping in. I still didn't see you subscribe though, so I don't know what you're doing. Matter of fact, stop everything right now. Do it. Hit that button right now. Right now. Right the fuck now. Fuck with y'all. Love y'all. I'm out.
Yeah, I wanted to add a little something, because through this journey, when I first started with you, you kind of was the motivation for, I would say for me to want to even start mentoring, number one, and then number two, even what you do today, because I know we talked about it off the record, like going to speaking engagements with you and just sharing that story, which is part of the reason why that whole journey through college and everything I went to was part of the reason why I created DGF. Of course, everybody know it as, you guys would know it as something else before, but now everybody know it as dreams get fulfilled, because we like to see other people win. And yeah, and use part of that inspiration to drive that, number one, and then number two, being able to create that financial freedom to be able to go share that story to other people, and my story to other people. I remember when we went to Kentucky, You know, I'm always outgoing, and but I was never that one to get up and talk in front of everybody. But I talk to you on the side all day, every day, and I remember you stepped out. But the kids, they was there, and we went to Kentucky. It was like 4 of them, 5 of them.
I think it was 5.
Yeah, and I don't know how I got picked, but I went up to that stage and shared my story. And the amount of love from that black conference that we went to just opened my mindset to like, hey, I can speak in front of anybody and tell this story, because you never know what you're gonna get out of it. And the kids embraced me through that time, and they seen the vulnerability to be able to be like, I can do this too. Yeah. And I think that's my biggest takeaway from that. Showing them that I can be a vulnerable man at any age, young, old, it don't matter. And you can still do what you want to do and pursue what you want to do in life. So definitely.
Yeah, that was a dope moment. I always try to tell people that sometimes God got to remove other leaders in order for other leaders to step up. And so what he's saying, he wound up speaking in front of like hundreds of like black leaders across the country, but they had called me downstairs. Like to like do like an interview, and I didn't even get a chance to see what he said because I was downstairs. But when I came back, he had tears in his eyes, and the kids was crying, and other people was crying. Like, bro, what happened? I just went downstairs to do an interview. Like, I'm looking at them like, yo, what happened? Like, so, he like, man, I just went up there and spoke, bro. I just spoke from the heart. Like, what? When? Because I feel like I was gone that long, and I just see, and then the next person got up and was like, man, we gonna raise money for this young man, you know what I mean? They start like kind of taking up an offering right there, man, and I was just like, yo, that was dope. But I wound up going to like this was years ago, so recording it didn't come through like how clear stuff now. Yeah. But man, I went on Facebook and I seen the clip, and I was like, dang. So I wound up like kind of like screen recording, and I wound up putting in a video. Because one of the things, like one of the students was like, man, I love Dell, like he's like a big brother to me, and then he just busted out crying and stuff like that. So it was like one of those moments that even if we never talk to him again, he'll never forget. You know what I mean? So it's like, it was one of those. And by the way, I thought DGF stood for Did God Fail? And everybody would say no, so that's what I thought. Did God fail? No, God never failed. Right? Change people's perspectives. So like, did God fail? Nope. But nah, man, dreams get fulfilled.
Well, if you still got that video, man, share that with me.
It's on my Facebook.
I don't think you ever shared that with me.
I got Facebook. I know you don't, so I look it up on my Facebook.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to go back a while.
I think that was what, 2019?
19. Yeah, you're gonna have to go back a while.
6 years. But you got the full actual video?
I got the whole video.
Oh yeah,
I post on the channel for sure.
Oh my god!
Because I was I was like doing like a little talking about mentors. And then I was like, and this is the power of, having young people, because Dell's still young, they're young, serve. And then I just let the video play out.
Yeah, man, I would love to see that.
Yeah, bro.
Because to this day, I don't even know how any of that came about. I don't even know how I looked. I probably look bad.
No, you look vulnerable.
I broke down heavy. Like, I think that was probably the first time I actually expressed what I actually went through. Yeah. Yeah, out loud. Yeah. So a lot of emotions just came, and it was like, damn.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So shout outs to Campaign for Black Male Achievement.
Absolutely.
They was the ones who put it together. My big bro Sean Dove, another visionary.
A great guy, man. Just a great guy.
Man, they was doing this for years. They wound up sunsetting, unfortunately, man. But it was something called the Rumble. And it happened at the Muhammad Ali Center in Kentucky. So right there in Lexington, it was dope. It was powerful.
Yeah, it was definitely a dope center.
Powerful.
Then y'all go back a couple years later with.
I just went back last year, but it wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same.
It lost its
It lost its touch.
Yeah, it was not even close to what we had. I will say that. But again, it was something. It was great.
Yeah.
It had its own like uniqueness, but it definitely wasn't what we experienced.
Cool.
So yeah.
Well, man, a lot of people don't know this, but you're an author. You know, and I, you know, want to give you your flowers to that because this book is a life story of your whole journey of what you ever go through. And a lot of, you know, you speak your devotionals in there about just life and how you overcame a lot of things. So one shout out to that, to just being vulnerable as a man, because you know, as men, vulnerability is tough.
Yeah, I think that's always been one of my strengths, though. So
yeah, but as men in the community,
oh yeah, for sure,
you know, it's tough. You know, so usually when you can have, you know, men be vulnerable and explain their story and share their story, it's powerful. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, how did that come about? What was your vision behind that?
Again, had I not went to Stevenson, that book probably wouldn't exist. So when I got to Stevenson, I had a creative writing class. A professor by the name of Brian Nelson, I called him Mr. B. He would just kind of give us like a topic, and you just kind of free wrote. And I had wrote a story about my uncle. So my uncle, again, my dad wasn't really in my life. My uncle, he was very quiet, but he was like my Superman. He looked like Mark Henry, the wrestler. And when I was young, he passed away, just kind of out of the blue. Like he just passed away. You gotta read the story, but essentially, I had wrote a story about my uncle, and I didn't think nothing about it. I just was writing from the heart. But when I was writing it, I was crying when I was writing that story in class. You know, I turned in and I got an A. Think nothing of it. And I want to say maybe a few months after I graduated, Mr. B hit me up on Facebook and was like, bro, we need to talk. So again, I'm like, okay. And he said, man, you ever thought about writing a book? I said, no. Why would I have thought that? And who the hell would care? He's like, no, I'm saying. He was like, man, I was throwing away some old papers and I came across the writing of your uncle. He's like, man, like even reading it now, like, bro, you got a lot. I was like, look, no disrespect, I couldn't even read growing up. I still struggle with reading. Yeah. I'm not wasting my time, bro. Like, no one would care, etc. He like, no, how about I help you write it? So I was like, oh, if you gonna write it, then cool. What you need me to do? And I ain't got no money to pay you, so what we doing? Yeah. We started meeting at Johns Hopkins University in their library, man, every week for like 6 months. He would just kind of record me just telling the narratives, and he wound up moving.
Oh, man.
He wound up moving, and project got stopped. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna write it myself. But I would start, I would stop, I would start, I would stop. And so finally, we talking about 9 years later, I met Dr. Curry, who has his own publishing company, Black-owned publishing company. So I say, look, could you help me write my book? He said, yeah, I can help you write the book. So he gives me a sample of his writing, and I say, you know what? No. I said, no, this is not going to work, because at the end of the day, whenever someone else is telling your narrative or writing it, it don't have the same spirit. Yeah. So I was like, you know what, God, I don't care how long it take me to finish this book, I'm going to do it. So I got back in contact with Mr. B. I said, man, look, send me all of the stuff that you wrote, the files, everything. So he sent it all over. And Mr. B is white. He is saying words that I don't even say. We don't say culturally. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad. This ain't gonna go right with the culture, right? I respect it because I can translate it back over and all of that. But I was like, so he had some paragraphs, but not enough to like really flush out a story. And so I just was like, whatever I got to do, God. So I was staying up late at night, crying through writing some of the chapters. But I knew, man, I wanted to really like honor my grandmother And I knew when I was writing it, I had young people in mind, because it's really a story about resilience and faithfulness and not letting your traumas and things like defeat you. And I would share like bits and pieces with like middle schoolers, or I would have them read like a synopsis. They'd be like, man, like this was good. Kids that don't even read. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, if the kids that don't read is like, yo, this is good, then I wonder what the kids who do read. And so, man, I just churned it out, man. You know, like I said, it was therapy for me, because when you're writing a story, you got to relive a lot of things that you experienced. And you really don't know how deep it is until you're writing it, and things that you just didn't process, or things that really hurt you. And so I went on that journey, and, you know, having Dr. Carey, you know, provide an editor, and, you know, all of the other stuff that you don't know that you need in order to have a book. But we knew we was going to call it The Promise. And I knew that from the jump. Why? Because the book wouldn't exist had I not went to Stevenson. Stevenson wouldn't exist had I not made the promise to my grandma. And my grandma, she had forgot everything. Address, name, birthday. But her last words as she was leaving out was, when are you going to go back to school? And I said, and my words to her was, Ma, I promise. And boom, there we have it. And so I wanted to detail that. I wanted to show people that my story is no different than the young people we serve. Our families are identical. We all have our own, you know, struggles, but that don't mean that God promise is not true, because God promised to prosper us, not to harm us. And so the promise just continues, right? And I know everybody has a promise. And it's really up to you to like really just believe whatever that promise is. And it looks different for everybody, but by God, don't leave this world not trying to pursue it. And so this is my way of like motivating people to keep going after their promise. And I've had people that's successful read it. I've had kids read it, and I get the same great feedback. Like, bro, I know you way better. Like, bro, it ain't no reason nobody shouldn't be out here like working towards what God has for them. And so again, it's not to get popular at all. I don't care about that. But it really is to change the heart and minds of young people who feel like, bro, why am I living life? Why am I going through this? You know, or, you know, my peoples don't rock with me, or my dad not in my life, or he incarcerated. You know, my mom, she was addicted to everything. So, you know, so at the end of the day, if I can put I wish it was more digital, because like now kids are like in the digital age. But I tell people all the time, man, it's something about feeling the words on the page that can just open up your mind to something different. And so that's where it stemmed from. Took about 11 years to finish it. So
but it's finished.
But it's finished. And I also realized that even what do you want?
Y'all know once the episode, he always trip out.
It's all
per
good.
usual. Go ahead, get in the cage, man.
But I realized that, you know, we all got our time, right? No one knows what their time is, but even when I'm not around, somebody will be able to pick that up. And they'll be like, yo, there was a good spirit that walked on this earth. So
where can people find it?
And you can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can go to Curry Brothers Publishing and find it. And again, man, you know, I will say people will be surprised, because again, I wasn't a big reader, so the chapters are relatively small. I tried to make it like 5 to 7 to 10 minute reads, because when I'm reading like a long book and I don't finish a chapter, I feel so unaccomplished. So I wrote it with that in mind, like, bro, read these 3 pages, then go about your business, right? Read these 5 pages, then go about your business. Read these 7 pages, like, yo, man, I had people finish the book in one night with ease. Because they was like, man, I wonder what the next chapter gonna be. You know, I wonder what the next chapter gonna be. And so at the end of the day, man, it's for all reading levels. All you got to do is be able to mumble, and you can be able to get through this book. You know, I try not to use all of the words I learned from Stevenson, put it that way.
Cool, man. So, you got anything, bro?
I'll go back to the mentoring. Because I always tell Dale we should start our own mentor. I know he's you know, working with you whenever he can, and that's cool. But what would you say is the best way to get into mentoring?
Clearly define what it is. People throw that word around so much, bro. It's not even funny. It's so saturated and watered down. because people throw it around. We even had Ty reach out to us and say he wanted to start a mentoring program. Yeah. And I was like, what? What are you talking about, bro? Like, look at what you do. You know, not in a disrespectful way, but bro. But what I will say is, depending on how you define it, what you'll find out, and I tell people this all the time, and I mean this, some of the best mentoring programs are the Bloods and the Crips and the DGF, and you might say, well, why? Because they're guiding people, maybe not in a way that we appreciate, but they are, and they get the outcomes that they require and desire, right? And people might say, but that's the opposite to you. But for those kids out here that don't have no family, don't have no money, they don't have no protection,
they take care.
I guarantee you, if you go ask them, they're gonna be like, bro. And I was like, you got to think about how powerful it is, because they already know what the results gonna be, and they still willing to be a part of it. So I'm like, man, they got the best. They got their own language. There is a community. They got their own colors. You know, they got their own sayings. And again, while I'm not in agreement with it for sure, that's why I tell people, man, clearly define what it is that you want to do, because that can look a multitude of ways. Somebody going to their barber and receiving life skills, that can be considered mentoring. Now, it's not what we consider mentoring, but that could be. Somebody that have a pastor that they look up to, they can consider that mentoring. Somebody that watching somebody frequently on online, you know, maybe they don't know him directly. Like some people, I heard people call Steve Harvey their mentor, and they never met him, but because of what they've been watching and reading, they feel like a deep connection to him. And that's not what I consider mentoring either. Some people, again, coaches, even though it's temporary. So just clearly define what it is that, you know what? Here's how I can offer mentorship, right? Here's what the outcome will be if we engage or embark on this journey. And you work towards that. Now, will that look different? Like, for example, you got some people who say that they're mentors and they're financial literacy coaches, but they're financial mentors. They're not going to help you with your girl, right? Don't go to them with that, because they like, look, me and my wife good. But yo, if you in debt, holler at your boy. I'm going to help get you out. You know, I'm going to teach you how to do this. Some people are business mentors. Like, they're going to help you start it. They're going to help you grow it. They're going to help you with the processes, etc. Some people are fitness mentors, right? So just clearly define it, and then be okay when everybody's not able to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Because what works for you guys might not work for the next man. You know what I mean? And don't feel offended by it. Just understand, like, man, you just don't fit this model. Man, but then maybe, and it's like when people know what we do, they just think that we just serve any kid. And I tell them all the time, that's not what we do. I'm not into popcorn style. Why? Because of what we learned from our experience. The ties and the other guys, right? It was like, man, you really wasn't in it long term, but we tried to help your peoples out. It didn't work out for the, you know what I mean, the long haul. That's not our style, you know, so, and that's okay. But just clearly define it, man, and clearly say, man, this is what I want the outcome to be. Because if you can't measure that, it's going to be real hard for you to say whatever you're doing is working. You know what I'm saying? So if it's, hey, man, we want everybody to go into IT. So maybe it's like, bro, you want to play basketball and all that. That's cool. But, man, here, we want you going to IT. So it's like, and when you turn 21, bro, either you and IT, like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? So you just want to be clear about that. That's what I will say. But anybody can start it. I would say, and I would suggest this, starting it is one thing. Being a part of it is another thing. Man, there's nothing new under the sun. I'm telling you right now, whatever you thinking, somebody probably already doing it. He or she's already been kicked around. So you might want to go to them first and be like, man, can I help you? And grow within that. Like, that should be the goal. It's like, because if I'm doing that thing, then it don't matter if I started or not. And that's what I tell people all the time. Even if I wasn't doing mentor, I still would be working with young people. Maybe in a school or maybe at a camp. I don't know. I just know I would still be working with young people. So
correct.
That's what I would say.
Great advice. Definitely.
For real.
So what's next on the agenda?
Oh, well, for us,
you, personal, business, mentors.
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, bro, every day I wake up with a sense of gratitude. Not saying that every day is easy, but understanding that this book, if you was to go back, I used to pray for the life I have now. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the best. I'm not saying all my relationships are solid or my communication is great, but I used to really pray for the things that I have. And so I wake up with a sense of gratitude, and I thank God every morning. Like, God, allow me to just be better than when I was yesterday, right? Let me steward the things that you're providing for me. And so that's in my relationship with Alex. That's in my fatherhood with Mason, Dylan, Maya, and Mimi. And even those look different and crazy sometimes, you know what I mean? That's in, you know, the relationship with the kids. That's in the relationship with stakeholders and constituents. But for us, man, we really thinking about, because we've been really intimate. And I'm talking about, man, when you intimate with something for so long, man, you know it like the back of your hand. You know what works, what don't work. And if you don't know what works, then you ain't really learning. And so I've went through and I've like, we didn't do that right. We didn't do that right. Me and Del, we did it, but man, we was struggling. We didn't do that right. Right? Like, I've created like a list of things that we could never do again because it was unsustainable. And then when you have somebody in your life, like, you know, my lady, who they can see the flaws, you just got to be willing to listen. And so this next season, bro, I'm just keeping my ears open, looking for improvements to see what other people might see. Because a lot of times we can't see ourselves. Like, our eyes are forward facing. Other people can see us. So they can see the crust in our eye. They can see, you know what I mean? They can see the dirt on our face. So I'm just listening carefully. I've been partnering with a lot of consultants. It costs a lot of money, but at the end of the day, it's worth an investment because those people don't know you. All they want to see is your business improve. And so we've been improving. Our goal is to partner with 4 to 5 schools this upcoming year. So going from our traditional 20 to 25 students, then it got lower as students was aging out and graduating. But essentially trying to serve between 60 to 100 kids. And really like flushing out our model. And we're doing that right now through our program design. And then also, like, you know, health-wise, man, I'm in the gym. I got a new personal record, lift 345 recently. So I'm just trying to constantly keep growing.
Sound like something I would do.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to keep growing, bro, and just keep trusting. You know what I'm saying? And until God tell me to do something else, I'm going to just keep rocking up.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
So,
Good words for sure.
So lastly, before we get up out of here, you got any advice for the people out there? Wisdom for the people out there?
I mean, if they didn't pick up some of the jewels that was dropped there, they're not going to pick it up. They probably didn't stick around either, and that's cool too. I always try to remind people, man, like if you leave before the concert over, you might miss the new song, the best song, you know what I mean? But I will say this, I think the best advice that I can give anybody, and I know this is so cliche and it's so old, but it's legitly real, bro, and it's powerful. You should be talking to God every day. If you can wake up and text your girl, your job, your mama, your brother, if you don't have that same intentionality in your relationship with God, then do not complain or pray when things fall apart. Like, real talk. And again, a lot of people pray when things are at its worst. But imagine if one of your family members, who you ain't talked to in years, things was falling apart, and they was like, man, I need this. Could you help me? Please. You gonna feel bad for him, but you gonna be like, come on, dog. I don't even. Come on, bro. Where's this coming from? You know, what is this? Right? Like, who are you to come? Why didn't you go to the people that you put your trust in? Why you didn't go to your mama? You text her every day. Why you didn't go to your girl? Because there's certain things that our people cannot do for us that God can, right? In the spiritual realm, that people get to see in the natural realm. So I do believe that, man. Like, man, there's some battles, man, that I was facing that I was like, bro, why do I keep feeling like I'm losing? And it was because I was trying to operate off of my strength. I know the word. Don't get me twisted. I'm armored. But I wasn't applying the word at this appointed time. I wasn't being wise. Yeah. So it's like, I ain't telling nobody how to live, bro, but I genuinely feel like, man, like when you living for God, you realize, man, there's a lot of distractions. I see the distractions before they happen because I'm living for God. And it don't mean that you get a lot of clout. We typically don't. You don't get a lot of popularity. You typically don't, because that's boring, right? It's boring, but it's prosperous.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no people chasing me down, trying to kill me. You know, I ain't got a lot of people trying to get money off of me or none of that. So have a relationship with God every day. You can text God too. The same, like, it might be in your notes or in your journal. You know, but the word says write the plan and make it plain. Or write the vision and make it plain. That can be in the text message. Hey God, what's up, man? You know, I realize that I desire this. I have no clue how, man. Reveal the people to me. Show me who I need to talk to. And have that person reach out to me within 3 days. And just see who reach out.
Yep.
And it might be that person. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would say, man. Like, honor that. And the last thing I would say, and this is super simple, and I get this again straight from the word, but the word says, love God. So you gotta love God. You talk to God. The people you love, you talk to. You're intentional about it. And then it says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. I think a lot of people can misconstrue that. They really think that means, let me just keep showing up for my neighbor. But it's hard to love your neighbor if you don't have self-love.
Yes.
And so you got to really think about, like, man, how am I investing in me so that I can be a better version of myself for other people, right? Like, it's not how do I give them a better version of me that I don't have for myself. You know, and a lot of people live life like that. I used to be. I'm guilty of it. But when you realize, man, that when you get better for you, everybody around you get better too. So,
amen.
There you go.
Amen, brother. Amen. Well, where can they find you at?
I told you, bro, I don't be remembering all this stuff, but I'm Googleable. I will say that. Like,
where can they find mentors at? I know you
man,
told
that's
them when you
easy.
found your books, but
mentors, I think is easy. So it's www.mentoring-mentors.org. Please don't forget to give. We are not a multi-million-dollar company. I know we raise millions of dollars, but we spend it on kids every year. So become a monthly giver. You can be a $20 hero, a $50 hero, a $100 hero, but just give and support the work. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me at Mayo Speaks. Again, I speak. Or you can just follow me at Mayo_2020. Or just Google my name. Something will pop up. Something's going to pop up that will lead you to me. Or you can check out my website, www.mynamealfonso with a PH, mayo.me. And that way you'll see all of, like, the content, what I do, speaking engagements, etc. So.
Dell is a monthly giver, man.
Dell is a monthly giver. We gotta get Dell to give a little more. We was looking at our records today, but Dell has contributed. He gave. But I'm looking at these Patron bottles. You know, I'm looking.
Hey man, I tried to give more in the beginning. He told me
because
no,
I was
$20
because I'm learning, right? So he was trying to give, but I'm like,
$100
no,
a month,
bro. Like, let's grow it. Be quiet, bro. I'm trying to learn how not to just expect, but to have Dell grow in his giving, versus just be like, yo, I'm gonna get this. No, bro, like, grow. I want you to grow with us, right? So don't worry, that email is coming for you to increase your giving. We literally just went over this today. They was like, who's going out? I was like, yeah, that's my guy. And it was like, what percentage do you think he will give? I said, 100. That's my guy. I think I said 95, just for shits. But yeah, man. So support the work, man, and then you know, I'm always looking to speak and connect. So if you work at a school, connect me. If you work at a camp, connect me.
You, I know we were supposed to be ending the episode. Do you plan on expanding at all, or do you want to stay in your area?
No, that would be irresponsible. The word goes around the world, so it's like the goal right now is to be district-wide, and that means serving, if not majority of schools in Baltimore, all the schools in Baltimore. But bro, trust me, there's PG needed, DC needed, Laurel needed. Man, everywhere we go, wherever there's this, and poverty, and you know, economic, single moms, bro, we need it. We really need it. And so my goal is, again, to be opposite of our culture. Like, it's cool, it look good, and I'm not for it, but I'm not against it, because I understand why people do that. But bro, we gonna go where the need is. We gonna go where the kids can't read. The young men want to pick up a gun instead of instead of duking it out, that's where we gonna go, bro. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know what that might look like, in 10 years, but I know the vision that God gave me. I'm gonna hold on to the next thing because I don't want to speak too soon. So,
man. I got you. I understand that 100%.
Lastly, before we close out, this month is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Shout out to all the people who's taking care of their mental health, especially men, because this is the month for us.
Yes,
share, be vulnerable, be open.
If you need that platform, let us know. We'll put that out there for you.
Absolutely.
Better health. If you need help, better help.
Better help. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Absolutely.
I used to be on that joint.
Yeah. So,
you can text.
just know
you can call.
We here supporting y'all, just like y'all support us. So take care of yourself. But today was another episode of The Couch. Like I said, got my guy Mayo here. It was a pleasure having you, brother.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Sharing your wisdom, sharing everything that you shared. I greatly appreciate it. I know they will too. So thank you. But
sir,
hey man, until next time. Also, like,
comment,
and subscribe. Do not forget to do that. Come on now, like, comment, and subscribe.
And don't forget to turn on them notifications. What are y'all doing?
See? Turn on them notifications.
Turn on the notifications so you can get more content like this.
You should turn on notifications for sure.
But honestly, when you subscribe nowadays, they automatically turn on notifications for you.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So like, comment, and subscribe.
And still check the notifications.
Check the notifications.
Check them for sure.
So, but nah, man. Thank you. Stay tuned for the next episode. We out.